Welcome back to Smashing Heads Podcast. This is our recap for the Gauntlet 2, episodes 8 and 9. My name is Zach, and I'm joined by my wife, Hannah.
Hey, what's up?
And my best friend, Jake.
It's one of those weird occasions where I'm going to ask you,
Yeah.
how's everybody doing tonight?
Mm-hmm. It's not tonight.
In all actuality,
It's lunchtime.
it is lunchtime.
Yeah.
I haven't had lunch yet.
Me either.
But I can tell you there's this little spot here in Jackson called Coyote Blues.
Okay.
And they have these grilled chicken tacos with this chipotle aioli. And it's probably one of the reasons I don't have a six-pack yet. But I am getting tacos after this. We all have that spot where they got that one meal you could just eat. It's like the Desert Island game, right? You could eat that every day for the rest of your life.
For Zach, it's probably Sonic's corn dogs.
No, that's not even close to true.
God,
I couldn't
Zach.
tell you the last time I had a Sonic corn dog. It's been months.
I don't think it's been that
Well, Al,
100%.
Al
I know,
tried
I
to,
know.
yeah.
He always lets you know whenever it's half-price corn dog, and
He
he
tried
tags
to
me in
hook
it,
us
too.
up.
You got to give him points for persistence and consistency.
Consistency. It's he always knows. I don't know how he knows because I never know.
I usually get a sponsored ad on Facebook.
I don't know. I never see. Again, I couldn't tell you. I like them. Not even close to probably top 10. I don't know what she's lying about for.
Corn dogs can burn for all I care. But as it's warming up outside, I'm reminded of better times. And, the cold has been miserable this year for some reason. Maybe it hadn't been for you guys, but I feel like, I don't know if I notice it more because I cut my hair, so I actually have a process to fixing my hair. It may not look like it, but I do. And I notice the wind now more than ever. And so my girlfriend, she lives in these apartments, and she lives on the third floor. Mm-hmm. And the hallway, the walkway funnels that wind.
Yeah, it catches it.
And I swear, if we're ever having a date night and I go over to her place to get ready, have my hair fixed, right? Well, when I leave, it's just
Not fixed.
not fixed. And so I don't know why. Because when I had long hair, I let my hair blow in the wind. And now I don't like for that to happen as much. So I don't know if I've just noticed the wind more than ever or if it's just been extra windy. There's nothing worse. I take that back. Cold and rain. When it's rainy and cold, it's awful.
Worse.
But cold and windy is right behind it.
I think it depends on the type of cold, because there's cold like chilly, like, oh, I need to put my coat on, and then there's cold that it cuts through all your layers of clothing.
It hurts.
It gets your bones, and it hurts.
It does. It hurts.
Yeah, I mean,
We usually have that in January, February.
it gets that way here for sure. What's weird is when we were in Utah and it snowed. It was cold, but I didn't feel other than when we stepped in water.
Yeah.
When it was because there was bad drainage in that one spot.
You almost got hypothermia.
No, but I did have to sit through half of a Titans game with wet socks and shoes in the snow.
And I'm pretty sure there was a door open in that building or something.
It was cold in there.
For fresh air.
Yeah.
Yeah, I I remember that because there was one morning when it snowed and it was 28 degrees outside, and I sat outside on the patio with a cup of coffee in a t-shirt and sweatpants and was fine. It didn't feel as cold as it does here sometimes.
Yeah, it may just be because we haven't been out there when it's hit the really cold times. I'm sure if you're from Utah or Colorado or some of those places, you'll be like, oh, no, it sucks. But it does feel like in Tennessee, for whatever reason, when it gets cold here, it's way worse than what it was when we've been out in Utah or Colorado when it's been cold.
It's a biting cold.
Yeah. I know. I mean, we don't have the blizzards like you guys do.
Hey, we did get snow the other day.
Oh, yeah, we did. We got about 5 inches.
It was crazy. It just came out of nowhere, and then it was melted and all gone within 24 hours.
Yeah. Your dog's playing it? Your dog?
Yeah. He likes the snow. Well, actually, one of my favorite pictures of him is him in the snow. And speaking of him,
Rest in peace.
Yeah, his namesake actually passed away tragically this week. So if we could, I just want to take about 10 seconds here.
A moment of silence.
Moment of silence for the legendary Razor Ramon / Scott Hall. Moment of silence. And
that wasn't 10 seconds.
I will.
And also John Clayton.
Did he die?
Yeah, yesterday.
Oh, I saw that.
Oh,
man,
from
ESPN.
What an awful week. Awful week.
I know. I've had a pretty good week.
Both were in their 60s. I mean, it's still not super old, but I don't know what
John Clayton always looked like he was in his 70s.
I know.
Yeah.
He was only 67, but I mean, even like in those old Sports Centers commercials, he always looked way older. They just said some sort of like he had a brief illness and then died. I don't really know if there was anything else released from that, but Scott Hall's was.
He had 3 heart attacks.
Well, he had hip replacement or something, and then while in the hospital, he had 3 heart attacks.
Mm.
Oh, I didn't know that's why he was in the hospital.
Yeah, it's just apparently that surgery is really rough. Hip replacement's really rough. You know, Andy Murray's still out there kicking around though. He's a lot younger. You know, he's got a metal hip.
Sir Andrew Murray.
Yeah.
And he has rejoined the tennis scene, and he's doing pretty well.
Yeah,
He's not. I mean, he's not back to the level that he was. He used to be the world #1, but he is entering a lot of these tournaments as a wild card and
he'll win the first couple rounds.
Yeah, he's taking a lot of people out.
Well, as you make this transition into what people came here for, I'll give us this little send off as he did in his Hall of Fame speech. Bad times don't last, but bad guys do.
Because he was a bad guy.
He was the bad guy.
Yeah. And apparently Diamond Dallas Page's yoga program helped turn his life around.
Yeah.
So.
It's a great, the resurrection of Jake Roberts, Jake the Snake Roberts. It's a great documentary.
Is it about Scott Hall?
Well, he has a little, that's where you see that, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Is that who you're named after?
Me?
The snake. You're named after the snake.
No, but he was always one of my favorites growing up as a kid because he had my name.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
There weren't a lot of wrestlers named Zach when I was growing up.
No.
Probably not.
Zach Ryder.
Not when I was growing up.
You know,
that's relatively recently.
That was your favorite wrestler, Zach Ryder.
It was. Mine was Doink the Clown.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So, again, we're still watching the Gauntlet 2. These episodes, they're so fast.
Yeah, they're really quick.
Like, there's zero filler in the episodes. It's like, you'll get like a minute and a half of like some exposition or drama, and then it's daily, directly into deliberation. There's no in-between time. Mm-hmm. And then directly from deliberation into the elimination, and then it's over. And I don't think that's the best way, but I also don't think the hour-and-a-half versions of the new season are the best way. I think the kind of sweet spot is that hour-long episode.
I think so, too.
We need a happy middle
ground. Yeah. But we go into episode 8 of Gauntlet 2, and the episode opens like a cold open with like this like eerie background music, and then Kara and Susie playing ping pong together, and then it cuts to Jillian and Keena outside, and Jillian's like, "Hey, Kara and Susie are in a secret alliance with these 3 guys from the vet team," which I think it was David, Timmy, and Brad. Yeah. And she wanted Keena to know that they were planning this alliance to help throw guys' missions, and then they were going to throw girls' missions on the vet side. And Keena's mad because she's the captain. And
she seems to be mad a lot.
She does seem to be mad a lot.
Yeah.
She also has a very matronly way of arguing.
What do you mean?
You know, it's just this. You see what I'm doing? She did this number.
She did do that. They can't see what you're doing.
The wolf pack. Shout out to the Scott Hall again. That's how she would like.
I noticed that, and I didn't make a note about it. But yeah, I was like, why is that how she's pointing at people?
It's weird, and there's a weird intensity about her that's very unnecessary.
Well, yeah, I mean,
like when a mother disciplines her child, you do not do that again. You know what I'm saying?
With the finger.
And the eyes get big and the bottom jaw comes out a little bit.
And you raise that eyebrow.
And it's like, and y'all are just having a conversation. Nobody's getting disciplined here.
I don't, yeah, Keena's got a kind of weird energy. I don't know if it's because the captain thing is like if I'm being honest, I remember Keena from other seasons. Couldn't tell you one thing she did on any other season. Like, I remember her. Hannah still doesn't know her name. She had to ask me a couple times during this who she was.
No, I said, is that Kira? And you're like, Keena. And I said, Keena.
Yeah, but
I didn't know.
But you also think her and Kara are the same person.
I didn't know. I've gotten to a point where I can tell the difference between them. I did not know who Jillian was.
That's another one.
Jillian was talking to Keena, and I said, who is that?
Jillian was on Fresh Meat 2?
Was she?
I believe, and they were like one of the first teams gone. But she had some guy with her that was like this big, tall, that should have been way better, and then they were not good. They weren't Kara and Darrell, but I think they were maybe the second team that got kicked. Actually, you know what? I think they might have beat Kara and Darrell. I might be off on that. But so the rest of the rookie team kind of has a little meeting, and they're like, we're going to have to watch this daily and make sure they're not screwing us over and whatever. That just kind of sets up the episode. And so the daily's called Team Strength.
They started playing Boys Not Out.
Did they?
Yeah.
How did I miss that?
It was from the album after the one you really like.
That wouldn't have been out when this aired.
Is that right?
Yeah, I don't think...
Then maybe I'm getting it mixed up. It was Boys Not Out. You know, they got a... I recognize the song. I couldn't tell you the name of it. But they have a very distinct sound.
Yeah, they do. But, I didn't hear that. And I still listen to Boys Not Out. I'm gonna have to go back and find that. Because, yeah, the album you're talking about didn't come out 2006 or 2007. Because
I initially thought it was Hawthorne Heights. And then I was like, no. That's Boys Not Out.
I didn't hear that either. But, you know, I might have just been taking notes. But... Boys Night Out, the album with, like, I got punched in the nose for sticking, I got punched in the face for sticking my nose in other people. All their song titles are very long.
Yeah.
It was in that era. Make Yourself Sick, I think, is the album. And then Train Something was the next one, right?
I don't know, I'll tell you. Let's see here. Boys Not Out, here we go.
Make Yourself Sick, I believe, was the one that we really liked. They put stuff out recently, too.
I actually liked Trainwreck.
Trainwreck, that's what it was. It was okay to me.
And then there was another one that came out in 2007 that was a self-titled that was not terrible to me.
They put out some stuff like within the last couple of years, like little singles.
2021, yeah.
But I think it's just two of them.
Yeah.
So I completely missed that, but I didn't miss that the team, the captain of the team that wins gets $1,000 from Energizer because you keep going.
Keep going.
And so this daily had a little bit more production value. It was like, all right, they got to push this boulder and get it to the other end, and then once they do that, then they have to have two people, a male and female on each team, push a truck all the way to the same finish line, and then the rest of the team has to pack it full of bricks and then push it back. And right when they start rolling the boulder, even before the vets one just completely fell apart, I told Hannah, I was like, that rookie one is like splitting. Like, like whoever built these did not do a good job.
Could you have built a better one? You're good with your hands.
Honestly, he probably could have. He would have put more stability into it.
When it fell apart, it looked like it was just framed in 2x4s and like just plywood on the outside, and there was nothing to like keep it together. It was just a frames. It was just hitting that ground, and
it literally crumbled.
Yeah, like I mean,
into pieces.
The rookies stayed together enough, but the veteran one, it disintegrated. They had to just pick up the pieces and run with it.
And that's not the vet's fault. That's someone on production's fault, and it cost the vets a lot of time.
Well, in the grand scheme of things, Ace cost them.
I understand, but at this point, it cost them a lot of time.
Yeah,
which I thought was unfair and stupid.
So when they get to the truck push segment for the rookies, it was Randy and Abise, and then it was David and Beth for the vets, and it's pretty close. Like they got there about the same time.
Well, your guy Mark makes it a point to mention that Beth is one of the better performers on the team.
I know. I heard him say it.
Is that a thing?
He said that.
It's weird. Like it seems like a handful of vets are like, well, Beth is big and like she can like push stuff around and like she's good at, and then like other ones like we'll see later on with Derek, and I think the next episode can't stand her, and half of them want her to go home, which I think that's kind of where Beth kind of like lies in the challenge, like in her, I guess,
I feel
legacy.
like it's more than half that wants her to go home.
I mean, I don't like her. Like,
we talked about this, I think, on the last episode. I watched Beth. I had seen her in a season before, the one where Tina punched her in the head. Mm-hmm. That was the introduction that you wanted me to have of Beth, which was fine. And then we watched her on All Stars, and I didn't have a problem with her. I really didn't.
Yeah, she was better on All Stars.
And then going back and watching this season, I can't stand Beth.
Yeah. And again, and Beth's like our age. And like I just see some of the stuff she does, and I was like, I don't think I would do that. Like there's one part later where TJ walks in the room and she goes, "Ooh, TJ."
But see, I appreciate the character that is Beth.
I don't think it's a character. I think that's just
fine.
Who she is.
Even if that's her,
I don't think it's a character.
I still, I watch these shows for entertainment. I'm not watching for rationality. I want to watch people be weird.
No, I agree.
But
I agree with
it's not weird and goofy. It's cringy.
But
that's what bothers me.
What do we do most times before we podcast? We haven't done it recently.
Yeah.
We specifically seek out the cringiest of TikToks. Why? Because there's an entertainment factor to it.
I do agree with that, but that doesn't mean that I like her. But
I understand. I'm not telling you I like her.
I would rather have her than people like Casey.
Yes, 1,000%.
Okay, and I can agree with that.
1,000%.
And I'm not a Casey hater. We just don't get anything from Casey.
Exactly, and great competitor.
It's empty calories with Casey.
Yeah, she's celery.
Yeah.
I hate
or
celery.
a donut.
That's not. Well,
there's no nutritional value.
He's thinking empty calories.
I was saying celery because of like it's good for you, but it's not enjoyable.
I don't even think it's good for me.
No, that celery is.
No, I'm saying Casey's more like a donut. It ain't good for me.
We were just
but donuts. People get excited about donuts.
Yeah, I like
That's
donuts.
True.
I love donuts.
Donuts might be one of my favorite desserts.
Okay, well, bad analogy.
Yeah, you guys are both making very different analogies.
Sometimes celery, I think it's the only food that actually burns more calories than you take in.
How about that?
Because the amount it takes to chew it burns more, and so it's a net negative, and so it actually makes you lose calories by eating celery. It's just so bad.
I hate celery. Yeah. When celery pops up in like soups, I get really mad. I will spend 30 minutes picking it out and then eat cold soup.
So on the truck push, on the way back, it's Mark and Julie versus MJ and Jody, and nobody's truck's moving. Nobody, like, they move like basically to the point where TJ's like, I'm gonna blow my horn in a minute, and then two more people can jump in. And this seemed like this daily was kind of like flying by the seat of their pants. And we do see that same, I don't know who he is, but in a handful of these dailies, there's like an extra judge, like watching one team that's not TJ, that's in a yellow shirt and he has a whistle. And he was the one that was telling them to pick up all the pieces of the boulder and move it across. And I don't know if he's like one of the production coordinators or if he's the one in charge of these dailies. But that's something we definitely don't see in newer seasons, is the people behind the scenes like that. But they blow the whistle, or they blow the horn, and Alton and Keena join the rookies, and Cyrus and Beth, I believe, join the vets. And basically the veterans truck just doesn't move. When they get the two extra players, the rookies get it going, and then the vets, we find out, are basically just pushing a truck in park, like, with their own will again, and however many hundreds of pounds are in the back with all their teammates.
Right.
So Ace was like, I've been driving trucks my whole life, and I got it. And then it's a stick shift, and so he wasn't holding the clutch in.
Well, he said that he wanted to be the driver because he said he's been driving stick shift since he was born.
Well, Cyrus, when it was finally over, was like, hey, hold that clutch in, and he pushed it, and then it moved really easy. He's like, that's what it was. Like, I valet parked for 6 months, and I thought he was going to initially say for like 4 years or something.
Could you have pointed that out? Would you have been able to, like...
So theoretically, I can drive a stick shift because I could drive a motorcycle, but I've never done it with a car. But it's the same concept. It's just on a motorcycle, you're using your hand as the clutch, and you're using your foot to shift, and in a car, you're using your foot for the clutch and your hand to shift. Okay. So I think I could figure it out, but it would take me a little bit. Yeah. My roommate in college, who he may listen to this.
He's Canadian.
Yeah. He drove a stick shift everywhere. He hated it for like in the city.
Yeah.
Because you're just constantly up and down and up and down. For a highway, you get really good gas mileage, though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Ace is just at a loss for words. The rookies win super easy, and then we find out that Susie and Kara feel like they were being shut out of the daily, which they were.
At the beginning of this daily, there was a confessional that Kara had where she said she wants to prove herself and she thinks that she and Susie can really do this daily. They can really perform. And they were upset when they were not allowed to be either of the girls to push the truck full of people and bricks, which doesn't make sense because they're very skinny and scrawny.
Keena was the second girl that came down there to push, and she's not bigger than them.
No, but Susie just seems very little this season. But after the vets lose, Susie's still upset that nobody would let her push the truck. And then she thinks that the rest of the team just won't let her prove herself.
Yeah, like honestly, like in all the confessionals, it doesn't seem like Susie and Kara, to me, were in an alliance where they were trying to sabotage things. And we find out later that it seems like it was misrepresented by Jillian pretty severely. But, yeah, we get to deliberation. Ace just votes himself in because he knows he's going to be voted in regardless. And it lands on Captain's Choice. It feels like every other spin is either Captain's Choice or a Challenger Choice. And
I need to fix that wheel.
That or they couldn't come up with any other elimination ideas.
Huh? That doesn't stop where the wheel stops.
No, but is it on there more than once?
No.
Oh.
No, it's just one for captains and one for challengers.
Maybe it's got extra weight on
I don't know, but it lands on it a lot. And so Derek picks Beach Brawl. And then Hannah had me rewind it because I missed it the first time. But did you see Derek's knitted like light blue hat?
Yeah.
How you feel about that?
He looked like a Nintendo character.
Oh.
It was too oversized.
You know what he looked like? You remember the game like Jet Set Radio or Jet Grind Radio?
I think so. I definitely never played it.
It's like a Japanese rollerblading game.
Yeah.
It looked like that. It was on Nintendo.
Okay.
It was really bad because he's just talking about Beach Brawl and then all of a sudden it cuts to a confessional and he's wearing that. And I just yelled out, I said, "What's on his head?"
Derek has questionable fashion. I mean, look, honestly, look at this season just in general. Every single guy on this season has like sideways like hats or like backwards and sideways hats, except for Timmy who has like the
safari hat.
Yeah, the zookeeper outfit.
You know, we used to wear the wristbands on our forearms.
Mm-hmm.
You remember that?
I used to do it when I played guitar because it would rub my arm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I used to wear it to look cool. Yeah, I thought it was so cool.
I mean, I probably did too.
Yeah.
Are you talking about the little rubbery?
No. You're talking about like sweatbands.
Sweatbands.
Like, not the big ones like I wear in tennis now, but like that size ones.
We put them like up on our forearms.
Yeah.
And look sick AF, you know?
I honestly did that because I was playing a Les Paul or like a Telecaster back then, and it would rub my forearm.
No, that's not why I wore mine.
Okay.
I believe that.
Yeah.
I mean, I used to wear bracelets and stuff. Like I had like those little spiked bracelets.
We had the chokers, and
I never wore I never wore.
You wore a choker?
I wore a
he
choker.
Did, yeah. I never wore necklaces.
Yeah.
I never liked that.
Just doesn't.
I had like a metal beaded choker from Acquire the Fire.
Now you know what? Now that you said it, I did have something from one of those conferences. It may have even been like an audio adrenaline necklace.
Oh yeah.
And you know, it all ties in together. Super Chick theme song of the season. I saw them at Acquire the Fire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we watched a video of them playing at the Grand Ole Opry.
Yeah.
Right down the road from us.
Yeah. We could have been there.
We could have.
I did have a note at the very beginning of this episode. We've watched this season so much that now this theme song gets stuck in my head a lot. Do you ever like wake up in the middle of the night or wake up from your alarm and then you have like music playing in your head and you can't get it out?
No.
Well, it happens to me almost every day. And like I'll wake up, it's like I hear the music in my head and it gets louder and louder and it wakes me up.
Is it your alarm playing?
It's not my alarm. My alarm, is that whatever noise that is.
Seagull.
Yeah.
It's not a seagull.
I know it's not a seagull, dummy. This song has been waking me up sometimes, and I'm like, no, go away.
What a wild.
I couldn't tell you what the
in my
words
head.
of this song are. I know the melody, but like I couldn't tell you any of the words.
We're the fire inside. Something. I don't
Something
know.
about an army of three.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
Well, speaking of music,
Okay.
I love the simplicity of this elimination.
I knew you were gonna really like what they did for the music.
That was my thing. Is like you just can't beat.
I don't know who it was.
A metal breakdown that just when TJ counts it down and blows the horn, that just hits as soon as they make contact.
I have no idea who.
There's something powerful about that though.
It works.
Did you know who it was?
It works. No, but like it didn't matter. Give me some heavy guitar and some, banging drums.
I think all drums are banging.
Or let it hit like a freight train. We like
first one to
that.
complain leaves with a bloodstain.
Yeah. You ain't got no fame.
Is that the next line of that song?
Who is that?
I was doing a Limp Bizkit song.
Oh.
It's one of those days
course
when you
you
don't want
are.
to wake up.
That sounds like something he'd say, though.
Probably. They're touring again.
Oh, yeah.
Why?
Also, he looks like
He looks
like
ridiculous.
he looks crazy. They're doing the Beach Brawl. It's the best 3 out of 5. They oil themselves up, and Ace is at one point says like, I'm 6 feet tall, and Derek's like 5'6", and he's like, I can't. He keeps getting underneath me. Derek wins round 1. Ace does win round 2, and he kind of does that like hip toss, and he threw him out. But then in round 3 he just kind of steps out, and then round 4 he's like trying to do the same thing, but Derek pushes him out before he can toss him. And
This is all right. I'm thinking back to when it was one of the War of the Worlds, the whole them being duct taped to a chair thing.
Yeah.
This is like if for some reason you had an elimination go awry, right? If you want to just default to something,
there's no props,
nothing, just a rope. Give us a rope.
Either that or just draw a
barrier
circle in the sand.
And this is better than a lot of things you could do, honestly.
Yeah, I was gonna say, do you wonder if they don't do it because I think if they did this these days, they would make them wear the helmets with the face masks and the shoulder pads and stuff. I don't think
that's fine.
I don't think they would just let them be in shorts on the beach.
Yeah,
Oiled up.
Yeah, I think that they would make them have some sort of like mouthpiece and face.
That's
mask.
fine.
But it's simple and you're just like, all right, best 3 out of 5, and you could even make the circle a little bit bigger so it's not somebody accidentally steps out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do agree with that. Like, there's literally no props. If you could,
nothing,
you wouldn't even have to bring it. You just like, all right, well, crap, get a stick, and we're just going to draw a circle.
I do wish the circle had been a little bit bigger.
Yeah, I do too, because it's just too easy to accidentally step out. But again, Derek wins. They get 20 minutes after they lose to pack up all their stuff. Ace decides to have a party in his room, and he has a digital camera that he's making a video or something with, and he's giving a speech.
You guys remember digital cameras like when they were like everything?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I had one at one point. It wasn't a good one. One of our band's in high school first like video, it was up on MySpace where somebody took it on a digital camera like that. And now it's gone because MySpace purged all that stuff. So, rest in peace.
It sucks.
Yeah.
Rest in peace MySpace or rest in pece the video?
No, MySpace still exists. It's riddled with pop-up stuff. Though I actually tried to get on there the other day. But the video's gone. They purged and they lost everybody had their songs up on there. Like I think almost all of that stuff's gone.
Yeah.
They purged their databases. So Kara has a team meeting where she tells everyone that her and Susie want to help out. And I don't think you do this if you're Kara, if you are in a secret alliance, right? Unless you're just really dumb. Like, you don't draw attention to the fact that you're not being used.
To me, it felt like they were trying to cover their tracks almost.
But we find out, they were asked about it, but, I don't know. Like,
well, she was complaining about how she didn't get to push the truck with Susie.
Yeah.
And just about everybody in the room just rolls their eyes.
Well,
at
not
her.
with Susie. They couldn't. You can't do two girls together.
But she and Susie were not allowed to push the truck.
Yeah.
And then Landon finally is like, okay, I'm going to ask. And then somebody, maybe, I don't know who it was, but somebody was like, yeah, do it. And Landon was like, what about the secret alliance that you're in?
I did appreciate Landon, like, being confrontational because he's not typically like that.
Right.
Yeah. Well, Kara freaks out, says it's not true. Susie starts crying instead of saying anything. And then nobody buys any of it.
Well, I wrote
almost,
that they look dumbfounded.
It almost seemed to me, if there was an alliance, it almost seemed to me like they were shocked that anybody knew about it, that it was found out, and that they were basically exposed and didn't know how to, like, gather all their marbles together. And so they're like, like first reaction is to cry and try and diffuse the situation so that people don't believe it. Almost like they were found out.
I think, just especially after watching the next episode with Jillian, I think that they were approached about it and they didn't really do one way or the other, but they were genuinely shocked that the whole group knew about it because apparently it was only them two and Jillian, and I guess they didn't think Jillian went, because again, we might as well, actually there's one more thing in this episode. The post-credits, did you watch it?
I don't pay attention to these like you guys do. I just jump right into the next one.
It's a lot of B-roll stuff, and
some of it's kind of fun.
This was Brad and
I did see this.
Susie
having a talk show, and Brad was saying she wrote a book called Knitting for Non-Knitters. Which I guess you got past the time somehow.
Mm-hmm.
They had great accents.
They're definitely in character. So, episode 9 starts with Jillian telling Kara and Susie that she told everyone, and they were like, "Why are you making it sound like us two did something? Like you were right there." And
this confrontation is what made me feel like, oh, they weren't a part of any alliance.
Yeah,
that's how I felt until this episode. I felt like, Kara and Susie had been caught red-handed. After seeing Jillian go to Kara and Susie, and then Kara and Susie go to Keena, then I started thinking, oh, maybe Jillian's just stirring up trouble.
Well, it sounds like someone approached all three of them about this, and then they were just like, whatever. And then Jillian's like, I told everyone about your secret. And they're like, what? You were with us. Like, what are you talking about? Mm. And so Jillian was like, well, I never said whatever. And Keena and I think a Beast and someone else were like, you told us this. And she's like, I never said that. And they're like, yes, you did. And Jillian just made it sound like Kara and Susie were like masterminding this plan, when in reality it seems like all three of them were approached and Jillian just told on them, but didn't really. From what I remember, Jillian told Keena that, hey, Susie and them asked me to be in this alliance in the first episode.
That's what I got.
Yeah, and I don't think that's what happened now after watching all this. So that's when Keena, I think, does the Wolfpack fingers.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And is it Kara or Kara?
I think people say it both ways, but
they do that with Kara Maria. There's certain people that call her Kara.
I think she actually goes by Kara, and I may have been saying Kara.
Well, CT calls her Kara Maria.
He does.
He's from Boston.
Yeah. Kara, whichever one. I appreciated the general, like, I appreciate it when people on the show kind of match what I'm feeling, right? And basically just told Keena, because Keena ends up just walking away, and she was like, that's not effective, Keena. Nothing hurtful, right? But it's just, also she mentions how she's not very approachable, and, which added to my, like, kind of disdain towards Keena because there is this weird intensity.
Yeah, at one point during this, Keena had her cigarettes in her hand. And I don't remember what she said, but the general vibe was like, "Don't you dare! Don't you do this!"
Just like,
it was like, that's not what this is about. Car's trying to clear her name because Jillian completely misrepresented this situation.
I know what you did.
Yeah,
It's just weird.
It's like, honestly, like, I don't know if this is at a time in the challenge when alliances are just unheard of, but everyone is so bent out of shape of the idea of someone being in an alliance.
Even Alton, we didn't even mention that, was like, we just try to play this game the right way.
But
he was very upset about it.
But that is how Alton is.
I understand.
Yeah.
I understand.
But like Landon was like, "What is this that we're hearing about an alliance?"
Yeah.
And it's like, why is he upset about this?
Everybody was upset about it. I got the impression that alliances weren't really a thing at this point.
Which it's so funny how it's like changed because now it's all about alliances.
You come into the show already with an alliance.
Yeah, people are scheming on the airplane.
it's not hidden.
No.
Like, it's just like these people work together.
Now,
you know?
we had Bananas and Wes that was kind of hidden a couple seasons ago. They worked together behind the scenes,
which I really
which was
enjoyed
great.
that. That was great.
Great TV. They know what they're
But
doing.
nobody expected it because they're like lifelong enemies.
Yeah.
Well, you get over to the vet guy side of things, and Brad feels violated.
Yeah.
So
Again,
just,
everyone is like taking this alliance and like acting like a crime has been committed.
Yeah.
That's how they're treating it. And Brad like gathered all the vets, and it's like he's trying to clear his name.
He's like, I can't believe that this has been happening. And like Timmy and David were the other two. And I don't remember hearing from either of them on this situation. Maybe they said something. But Brad is like, I want to clear. It's like back in the
Salem witch trials.
Yeah, which around that time I was going to say the Crucible, where you've been accused of like adultery, and he's like, I have to clear my name, and it's like, I don't even know. Like, anyway, the guys all deny it. I guess
Right.
And so who knows? We don't have any footage of it.
No,
What'd they say on The Office? Who knows? It's nebulous.
Right. I liked, changing the subject, I really liked when Montana said that Beth has all the credibility of a late night infomercial.
All right.
Well, and you really like The Office.
I really do like The Office.
I
loves
think anytime you're
infomercials,
on
too.
vacation or traveling and you have the ability to watch something,
That's what she did on the plane.
it's The Office.
It's all
to and
all
from
I do.
California. Yeah. It had like
If
6
you're-
episodes.
If you're in a waiting room in a doctor's office and you need to be preoccupied, we're going to watch The Office.
Oh yeah, and especially if it's really really early or really really late at night and I'm tired.
Just trying to wind down. We're gonna watch The
Exactly.
Office.
That's what I did when we flew from Memphis to Salt Lake the other day.
God.
Drop my cap.
We had to get up at like 4 a.m. And get to the airport at like 6 or something. I don't
Why
know.
would we get up at 4? We were already
I
in
don't know.
Memphis.
Our flight was at the crack of dawn.
It was early.
We were sitting at the terminal waiting to board, and it was still dark outside. The moment I got on that plane, I sat down, plugged in my earphones, pulled up The Office. They had season 5.
It's a good season.
It's a great season. It's got my favorite episode of all time, Stress Relief, part 1 and 2 on there. I went straight to that, turned it on, turned up the volume, and laid back, closed my eyes, and I slept the whole way. And that's what I do.
part of the reason-
I'll turn it on and then go to sleep.
Part of the reason you don't enjoy The Office.
I loved The Office. I still do. Once we got married, she just had it on in the house 24/7 for years straight.
It was a constant loop.
And so it did, like anything. It's just, it'll wear you down after a while.
Yeah.
Especially if you're not the one like doing it. Like you're not, like if you're putting something on for yourself, that's fine. But if your girlfriend was just like, hey, anytime you're around, I'm gonna have,
Nickelback.
well, no, that's already kind of abusive. But just
Creed.
again, you're not.
No,
helping
he
with
likes
this.
Creed.
I know, but this is still not like with TV show. What's a TV show that you enjoy but you don't like?
Shark Tank.
All right, let's just say Shark Tank. But now that's even different because The Office is just the same jokes. Like Shark Tank's got a little bit of different thing. Anyway, it's just having one thing on at all times indefinitely. You just get tired of hearing it.
I'm definitely more though like, you ever get in the car with somebody and they want to control the radio or the music, and they're just like, oh, listen to this, oh, check this out. I've never once in that moment, we've done this to each other. We do this to each other. And I don't think there's ever been a time where I've been like, oh, man, you got to listen to this. It's so good. You're kind of disinterested at that point before you even crank it on. I'm the same way. When you suggest stuff to me, it's like, I don't really want to listen to it now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with you. It's just, she'll get in my vehicle. She'll take my phone and you know, she'll want to start playing stuff. And she'll be like, oh, I bet you'll like this. And I already don't like it before she's even played it just because.
That's a you problem.
It is. It's probably a me problem.
Yeah.
Anybody else out there feel me on that? Drop in the comments below and let me know.
Is she making you listen to K-pop? Because I made you do that one time on the way to Memphis.
No, she just like, I don't know. She'll throw on like Juice WRLD or something. It's like, and I actually like a lot of Juice WRLD stuff, but she'll throw on stuff, you know, that maybe I hadn't heard yet. I'm already checked out because I didn't discover it myself. Anybody else out there know what I'm talking about?
No.
Yeah, no, it has nothing to do with Office. Like, again,
I did it with Friends too.
Yeah. You hate Friends.
No, I don't hate Friends, but it is less enjoyable now. Like, it doesn't hold up as much, like as like if you go back and watch it.
I discovered Friends my third year of college.
Okay. Like,
and no, because it was about the time I had moved out of my parents' house, and so I did not like being home alone because I'd never done it before. And so in order to make me
hold on, funny you say that, Ham, because when we were in Utah, you wanted to be home alone.
Yeah.
Just
and
for
watch
a couple
Home Alone.
hours.
Yeah, watch Home Alone. So, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but that just, when you said that struck a nerve.
You're still not over that.
Yeah.
No, I'd never been home alone, like anytime I am home alone now, even like in the middle of the day, whatever, I like to have something playing in the background so that it to me, it's like, oh, there's voices. It almost feels like there's people in the house with me, so I'm not actually alone. And so I would turn on Friends because there's
nothing more natural than a laugh track happening.
But they're all talking. There's a whole bunch of people in it, and they're all talking to each other. And it wasn't The Office. I wanted to watch something new, and so I watched through all of Friends and loved it, and then started it over. And I just watched it on a constant for a long time,
I'd already seen the whole series, like, back in when it was only available on, like, DVDs and stuff, because I just knew people had it.
It was your sister's favorite show.
Yeah, but I didn't watch what she had.
Shout out to your sister, man.
Yeah, great. They actually, my sister and her husband, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia in, like, season 3 or 4, did a play called
The Nightman.
Yeah, and basically it was an episode in the show, but then they did a limited run of actual performances of it in theaters, and they were only in California. And so I told my sister and brother-in-law, and he was watching the show then. I don't know if he still does. He still makes references to it, but they actually went and saw it, like, live, and I was like, that's one of the things, like, I wish I could have done.
Maybe one day.
No, I don't think
probably
it's gonna
not.
happen again. And their season 15 just ended, and they renewed for like 4 more seasons. It's the longest running live action comedy of all time.
How about that?
The Simpsons has it beat for because it's animated, but
these guys are actually doing it.
Yeah. I can't believe it's lasted this long. It doesn't even make sense. Anyway, the daily for this episode, it's just called Balancing Act. Like, again, they're not creative in these titles.
There were no Best Buy $1,000 gift certificates given to the winner for this daily.
No, this was a $1,000 online gift certificate.
An online gift certificate to Fossil jeans.
Fossil was weird, man. I never liked their stuff.
But
watches were fine.
A lot of people loved their watches and jeans.
They're big on watches and
Are they still brands?
In my day, yes. Purses. I didn't know about the jeans thing until
cheap
this.
Purses? Because that was the kind of the thing with the watches was they were like we were teenagers. They were like accessibly priced watch. Like they weren't cheap, but they were like $70 instead of like a few hundred.
The purses were about like $60 to $80 as opposed to like $30 to $40.
Well, I mean
so it was like a step up from like your normal middle school teenage girl's purse.
That's how the watches were too. It was like not like Walmart level stuff, but it wasn't.
I always thought their watches that had like the digital background with the big like seconds counting down.
Oh yeah, but but then the analog hands.
Yeah, I always thought those were the coolest things.
Yeah, I had one of those.
Those were super cool.
And I didn't even wear watches, but that was just like, oh, you're like, oh, that's what is cool.
That's freaking cool. Yeah,
I think I had one that had like a leather, like 2-inch wide band.
Oh, way to flaunt your money at us.
That's not flaunting money. That's just like that. It was a look that is very bad. But it, I doubt I ever wore it. Like I probably bought it on a trip, and probably a youth trip, if I'm being honest, where we just go to the mall or something. So balancing act. Basically, only Landon and Alton do it,
and they were the first ones to go.
It took them 11.5 minutes.
Hey, TJ gave us a time.
He did.
I was gonna say, I noted here, times are back for Zach.
Well, no, time. That was the whole premise. Was they just counted the cumulative time, and they. Do you think this era of the challenge was before they started having people test the dailies?
No, because they actually showed a clip of 2 people testing it.
It wasn't people testing it. It was just a clip from.
But it said test run on it.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
I missed that.
I almost made a note because I was like, oh, they do this with Survivor where they show the viewers what it's supposed to look like so that we understand the rules.
Typically what the challenge does is if they do that, they'll just take a quick clip from the people that actually are doing it and just show, like, to give you an idea. I
swear it was in the top left-hand corner and it said in red test run.
Well, then I don't know what the excuse is. I was going to say this has to be in the era before they did test runs on these challenges because all of them are bad.
Right.
Like the last episode, the boulder fell apart. They couldn't push the truck. They had to do stuff on the fly. We've had a couple other ones this season where things just like weren't working out, and then this one team got across, and that's it. And
I think it was just a hard daily.
But that shouldn't be the point of the dailies. Because what if Alton and Landon fall? Then you have to just restart and be like, all right, well, you got to do it again, but I guess this time you can hold on to each other's shoulders or something.
Haven't we seen a daily like this before?
Probably. I mean, there's a lot of suspended over water dailies. It's kind
of
just
like
a staple.
they have to like hold each other's hands instead of a rope.
Again, probably
it's because they're like doing this.
This is really hard.
Yeah, it is. It's a very hard.
Like
daily.
This is extremely hard, and like honestly, Alton and Landon are probably the 2 best athletes on the show. Best athletes, and they're the only ones that did it.
Yeah,
and so I did appreciate that Timmy looked up at Keena and Jeyyy and said, "We got a couple of Humpty Dumptys up there." I was like, "He's 31, but he's acting like he's 57." And
he looks like he's 57.
Yeah. Again, I don't know. I like Timmy a lot. Like I really do enjoy him on the show. And so it comes down to basically Beth and Timmy, and they're the only team left, and they've got to do it. Otherwise, they lose. And Beth just basically gives up. And Timmy's trying to, like, work with her emotions. And, like, he's not being abusive or, like, he's like, hey, let's figure this out. And then eventually he's like, psychology is not working. And the team's yelling at her. And she's like, well, now I'm just not going to do it. And
as a viewer, I just love the, just the goofiness of Beth.
Well, it was like, well, you weren't going to do it anyway, but now you're like, well, that's the reason why.
Yeah, because people are yelling for her to go.
Yeah, and so...
But she doesn't get sad about it. She's very just like, well, I ain't doing it now.
Yeah, I know. It's like, it's their fault. It's their fault I'm not doing it. I'd kill it.
It was her team's only chance to tie it and not lose. Also, she's the team captain, so if they lose this daily, she's automatically going to elimination. So why would she not?
That was her thing. She's like, well, I don't care. I'm just going to go in against Montana. And
then afterwards, she says to the camera, she's talking about how, I went up there and I was really intimidated, but I tried and that's all I could do. She did not try. She got up there and
you know
quit.
Who tried? Katie tried.
Yeah.
Katie's awful at water challenges.
Always gets hurt.
Scared to death of them. And she tried and she fell. Beth got 3 feet out and then would go back to the platform.
Mm-hmm.
And, Timmy would have at least tried. He couldn't go by himself. And so we get to the deliberation and Montana is going to be the vote, and I think Julie's the one who says they want Montana because she's the closest in Beth's size, and they want someone who can beat Beth. Mm-hmm. And that may be true, but I mean, it's not like Montana's going to
kill it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not getting a fierce competitor out of her, if I'm being honest.
This is when we got what you referenced earlier with TJ walking in. Beth started clapping her hands, and then in very gross, cringy baby talk says, "Oh, TJ's here, yay!" And it made me want to leave the room.
Jake loves that.
I almost did leave the room.
I enjoy Beth. I really do.
But I hate baby talk. I hate it so much.
You can recognize.
You don't like this?
Babies don't
That's
talk like that.
That's not how babies talk. You can't even do it.
So again, Captain's Choice again. And Beth's like, great, reverse tug of war, which she lucked out last time she got Challenger's Choice. Reverse tug of war against...
Can I go back to baby talk for a second?
Yeah,
me and our friend Joey.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We'll constantly go back and forth with each other being like, do you want me to be your daddy?
I don't like that.
Daddy? I'm your daddy.
Don't like that at all.
Well, then we'll go like this. We'll put our hands out, or up close. We'll go, do you want to be daddy? And bring them out far and go, oh, little daddy.
Well, what you just did was the exact... What you just did is the exact opposite of what your hands are doing.
Right. That's on purpose.
You do the opposite on
Big
purpose.
and little.
Big is hands close together, and little is hands far apart. That makes sense.
For Joey, it does make sense.
Yeah. I can't get into stuff about him. Again, Captain's Choice. I did appreciate that they cut to Confessional of MJ, and he's like, Beth is like our 17th team member. He's like, I love Beth.
Yeah, so all the rookies are voting for Beth to win.
Well, they're rooting for it, which they all come out with like signs, and they're like, oh, we're acting like it's like a monster truck rally or something. They have a sign that Landon specifically... It says, Tug Her Rug.
Tug Her Rug.
What does that mean?
I don't know.
And they were all yelling it.
The only thing that like I know rug to mean in like a slang term is like that's just like a slang way of saying like someone's got like a bad toupee. Is like that rug. Like I don't know what Tug Her Rug. You know what? I'm gonna Google it. Let's Google what Tug Her Rug means.
I've never heard that.
Tug her rug.
That's kind of how they were yelling it. But I've never heard that phrase ever.
Well, Google didn't autocomplete it, so
Google went to
let's see what rug
tug her hair.
Oh, can't read that one.
Hold on, wait.
I can't read
no.
that. I don't.
Oh my god!
I don't have my glasses on, so I can't see anyway.
Yeah, well,
look at the quote there. Oh my god!
Yeah, it's Urban Dictionary. It's not. I don't think that's what Landon was talking about.
No. But who had a rug though?
I don't know what that means.
Images for rug.
You know what?
Those are nice rugs.
The only thing I can think, and this is going the complete opposite direction of what Urban Dictionary just said, is when they say like someone has been like completely blindsided or whatever, they said
had the rug pulled out from under them.
Yeah, you're with me. Maybe that's what that means. Is like, blindsided her. Tug her rug. But that's not a phrase.
Maybe they made
it. He had it on a sign too.
I mean, maybe they made it up.
He wasn't just saying it. He doubled down on it by making a sign.
Well, I saw the sign first, and I was like, what does that mean? Okay, when you Google with parentheses around quotation marks around Tug Her Rug, the first things that pop up... The first two are the Real World Road Rules Gauntlet 2 from InsidePulse.com from 2006.
There's also...
and then there's another thing from a blog spot in 2006. And
then there's just a bunch of porn recommendations.
Click on it.
What?
Look, the
Oh, yeah.
Gross. I want to
Oh
know.
my God.
I want to know what the articles
Yeah, I'm
say.
clicking InsidePulse.com
from the challenge
from 1/31/2006. I mean, that's just cast, and that's just marking who's gone. All right, so this is a full episode breakdown.
All right, so go to the end of it now. God,
Yeah.
people did this? Why?
I mean, this is
2006.
This is kind of before podcasts and all that. So
Yeah,
this
I
would
guess
be
this is the...
and also not probably as many people had DVR and you didn't have on demand like to watch later. So if you missed it, you're like, oh, I gotta find out what happens. I'm sure this person.
There it is, up above that ad.
Yeah, I see it.
The rookies made sides, Tug Her Rug, Beth Mount Montana in defense. It doesn't explain what it is, but
What's the blog spot say?
we'll see. I mean, this is probably somebody's. This is a whole thing just about. Well, no, not just about the challenge, but mostly about the challenge. It's someone doing an article of like play-by-play. TJ Cameron talks some more about how Jody and the Beast can put together another point on the board for the like. This is a play-by-play of the episode. You know what? I'm gonna do Control F. Tug. Reverse tug of war. Tug holding up Tug Her Rug in defense. Yeah, that's it. Landon Chance Tug Her Rug.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're still not getting anything. I don't know. We need to find him and ask him.
Yeah.
If we ever interview Landon, we've got to ask him what Tug Her Rug means.
Yeah.
Somebody help us remember that.
Yeah. So, anyway, in the elimination, Montana started okay, and then Beth still had the bad technique of like standing fully upright at first, and so like, well, maybe, Ruthie had the right strategy. She just didn't have the weight. Like, there's no way. I was like, maybe Montana will be able, and then Montana just kind of gives up. It seems like just doesn't have the energy for it.
I thought she would have won because she had
I really
a better
didn't.
start.
I honestly didn't know Montana until this season. I guess she was on the very first one, which I still have never watched, the very first challenge. But Beth wins. And she walks up to Derek and like the group, and she's like, I bet you guys wanted Montana to win. And he said, I did want Montana to win. You're the meanest person I've ever known. And I was like, that's really funny. And
I thought it was funny.
And I like, Beth just has like a shocked face, and I was like, it's like she has like the shocked like Pikachu face that you see like the reaction
because
thing.
it was it wasn't like a that
was like
he
from
wasn't
the heart.
Cutting her down. He wasn't like
wasn't
demeaning
calling
her.
her
He was like,
names.
no, you're freaking mean.
Yeah.
Like
that was like, I think she thought, oh well, I'm just gonna make a joke about this. Like, oh, I bet you wanted Montana, and he was just like, absolutely, I did. You're the meanest person I've ever met. And she was like, oh no. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't think he would actually say that.
I think she expected him to like trash talk or something.
Yeah. And he got real about
like
it.
play along, and he just.
And then she called him something, and he called her the B word.
Yep.
And then that's kind of how the episode ends. Montana steps into the ocean with her shoes on.
Montana's given 20 minutes to pack her bags and
I didn't
say
even write
goodbye.
about it. Yeah.
Derek says a very heartfelt goodbye to Montana. Asks for a picture together before leaving on a digital camera.
You know what's great like about that? Like one of our patrons, Chico, he actually has a handful of like pictures from these early seasons that he bought on eBay from someone that was on the show that just took a bunch of like pictures on like a digital camera and got them developed. Mm-hmm. And then he has them from Fresh Meat 1, like just all these like behind the scenes pictures that are like candid stuff the cast took of each other, and like it's pretty cool. Like that's just kind of like a relic in time that like you don't see otherwise. But yeah,
the whole team seemed very sad to see her go.
I think it's more
that they're sad Beth is not going.
Yeah, like I just like if you had to live with one or the other, it seems like Montana is mostly just kind of quiet, even if she's not as good, maybe. Mm-hmm. And then Beth does baby voice and
is mean apparently.
Yeah, I mean that was one of those like that was he didn't even have time to think about it. That's just what his heart wanted to say about her. And you know, so that's a real one. So you guys got any other things to close out this episode?
No.
Great. Superlatives. Who smashed some heads?
The truck clutch smashed Ace's head.
Who smashed heads? I'm gonna give it to Beth because I know y'all ain't giving it to her. So shout out to Beth.
I'm not. Yeah, I'm gonna give it to Derek for Actually, you know what? I'm not gonna give it to Derek. I guess I'm gonna give it to. I will give it to Derek because I'm gonna go to. I was gonna say I want Beth to get her head smashed, but I'll give it to Derek for saying it's like the old Clayton Bigsby Chappelle show. It's like if you got hate in your heart, let it out. That's what he did.
Yeah. That's such a good sketch.
And so then. Who got their head smashed?
Susie and Cara when the whole team flipped on them because of Jillian.
I honestly kind of already forgot about that.
I mean, Susie cried.
I'm going to give it to Keena.
Okay.
For just being walloped by everything to the point where...
Do you think she's like assuming a like maternal role because she's the captain?
Yeah, but she ain't nobody's mom here. Come on.
I know. I get it. It seems excessive, but...
It is.
I'm going to go with production. I was going to give it to Beth for what Derek said. I'm going to say production because they almost had 2 dailies in a row that completely fell apart. If it wasn't for Alton and Landon, second daily was done. If it wasn't for them adding 2 more people to push the truck and one of the boulders not falling apart, like that daily would have been a disaster too. So
right.
Get it together, production. Let's get it going. So, like we always say, patreon.com/smashingheadspodcast. Follow us on Twitter @smashingheads and @smashingheadspodcast on Instagram and Facebook. And we're gonna keep doing more Gauntlet 2 until I don't know how many episodes are in this season. I forgot.
We just did 8 and 9. Maybe 4 more. Maybe 2 more episodes.
In less than 2 months, new All-Star season.
Looking forward to it.
Oh, I totally forgot about that.
All-Star Season 3, which I wonder when they're going to officially release cast. Because I know a handful of them, but Hannah doesn't want to know any of them until the cast is officially announced. I would assume maybe like the 1st of April.
Yeah.
They're going to announce it to kind of start getting people hyped up about it. And one thing, I don't even know if you guys saw, the challenge is now producing their own like workout series.
What? I have not heard about that.
Starring Mark Long and Tori Deal and Nelson. And I saw some.
Hey, we could go to Nelly D's Nelly T's
Go.
His little boot camp. We could attend it virtually.
Nah. The headshot they used of him is really bad.
Is it really?
Compared to the other two. It's really funny.
Again, I haven't seen any of this.
And I want to say someone said in our Slack group about Rachel, which Rachel Robinson is the one who makes the most sense because that's just what she does.
Yeah, she's a fitness instructor, isn't she?
But I hope that she's involved, but maybe some people don't really remember her as much because she hasn't been on in a while. But, if you're looking for something to do, that's apparently coming out. And, again, we'll be zooming right along with these Gauntlet 2 recaps.
And y'all have a good night, everyone.